Well, welcome everyone. We're going to have another individual joining us here in just a few minutes as well for some testimonials that they're going to share on some of the products. We're excited, as always, for an amazing call tonight. And part of that has to do with our special guest, Dr. McCleary, who has formulated a couple of our products that we have online and has, as you get to hear from him, you'll just understand the vast knowledge and education that he brings and experience that he brings to TM3. I mean, every time I talk to Dr. McCleary or hear from him, there's something new that comes out about some of the studies or some of the knowledge that he has on not only, I mean, specifically the brain. He can go on and on about that, but just his overall knowledge of medicine and health and the human body is just amazing. And so we're grateful to have him with us. And then we have some other individuals with us tonight, and Darin will introduce them as we go throughout the call. Darin, if you want to go ahead and take it over as we get the call going on this Monday. Happy President's Day as well, everyone. Darin, take it
Colby,
away.
thank you. And what a absolute pleasure, as you just mentioned, to always have Dr. McCleary on the Zoom with us tonight. Last week I had an opportunity to spend some time with one of his partners, and we must have talked for a good hour just about what an incredible man Dr. Larry McCleary is. And his background is he was the acting chief of pediatric neurosurgery at Denver Children's Hospital. After graduating from Dartmouth, he performed postgraduate work in physics at Boston University. He went to medical school at the State University of New York, Buffalo, did a surgical internship at the University of Minnesota, and completed his residency in neurosurgery at the prestigious New York University Bellevue Hospital. And Dr. McCleary has written several books, shares his knowledge with, really anybody that asks. And we are just completely blessed to have Dr. McCleary as part of our council, as part of our advisory board, and someone that we just completely trust going forward with some of his products. And tonight, as a bonus, being President's Day, and we're going to be talking about two incredible products, Focus and BON3-X. Both of these have been formulated by Dr. McCleary. And Dr. McCleary, if you don't mind, let's start off with Focus. When you read about the brain, it weighs about 3 pounds, but has 84 or 86 billion neurons, quadrillion connections through synapses, and really it just runs everything about the body. And we need to continue to feed it. We need to nourish it. And because of individuals like Dr. McCleary and his gift to us about this product called Focus, we are completely blessed about what we can do and share. And so, Dr. McCleary, I'm going to turn the time over to you, if you don't mind. Give us a little background on this amazing product and really answer why anybody should be taking it.
All righty. Well, as always, your introduction is very kind. It sounds like you've been doing your homework too. I mean, with all of those quadrillions of connections, I mean, down to the decimal point. That's very good. Well, thanks, Darin. So I'm honored, as always, to be on this call. And let me just provide a little bit of background information, how I got interested in nutritional support for the brain. As Darin said, I was at the Children's Hospital in Denver for my professional career, and we saw a large array of kids who had all kinds of brain insults, and many of them required surgery and then prolonged intensive care unit stays, and then days, weeks, occasionally months on the neurotrauma rehab service as they were recovering. And we were always looking for ways to facilitate that recovery, make it more complete and speed it up. And probably 30 plus years ago now, I got interested in the nutritional support of the brain. And one thing that you need to know is when the brain is insulted, and it usually prefers glucose or sugar as its primary source of energy. Well, when it gets kind of kicked off kilter, it can't really metabolize glucose as well as it normally does. So we tried to provide an alternative energy source. So that's how this all got started. And we were giving these specialized fats through intravenous lines. And then we started adding some vitamins, minerals, and then other nutrients that enhance neurotransmission and transmitters and supported mitochondria, which are the energy generating components of cells, and just kind of supporting nerve cells in any way we could. And we saw benefits in the recovery of the kids, and their parents noticed it too. It wasn't just the doctors and nurses taking care of the children. They said, hey, what about us, doc? Can you do something for older brains? And that really was the impetus for developing Focus. And being a doctor, we always like, before we recommend anything to people, we like to know that we can count on it delivering. And so that usually involves clinical trials. And just like a pharmaceutical, we decided to prove that the product Focus either worked or didn't focus. So we put it through a gold standard clinical trial. And that means we compared it against a placebo or inactive product, and we tested brain function metrics or indicators at the baseline and then at the end of the clinical trial. And we studied 10 indicators of brain function, and Focus improved all of these indicators. And just to give you an idea of what we were looking at, memory is something that people always complain about or are worried about. And there are three broad categories of memory. One is short-term memory, one is working memory or intermediate-term memory, and one is long-term memory, remembering, who was an actor or actress in a movie you watched 20 years ago. And it improved all of those indicators of brain function. We also looked at learning. Learning is critical. That's what shapes our lives as we go through life. And Focus improved learning, and it also improved the rate of learning, which means that you learned more rapidly when you took the product. We also tested, did it speed up information processing? And yes, it did. It improved the rate at which the brain assimilates and analyzes information. And the other metrics we looked at were in the realm of attention and distractibility and focus, and it improved those as well. And then we added at the end, and this was kind of an afterthought, we added 2 tests that measure mood or emotional parameters of brain function, such as anxiety and depression. And Focus improved all of those in a statistically significant fashion, that kind of surprised us. But, when we talk to people about this, people say, well, okay, I get that and improved all of these, but were people aware of it? I mean, were these in a way that were significant in real life? And the way you assess the impact is by how much the product moved the needle, for example, in a focus, attention, memory, or whatever. And those are measured in Z-scores. And a Z-score is like a standard deviation. And the more of a standard deviation you produce, the bigger the result. And the results on this clinical trial for Focus were in the range of 0.5 to 0.66 Z-scores or standard deviations. Now, to provide perspective, there are drugs such as Ritalin, which are used for ADD or ADHD, and they produce improvements in focus and distractibility in that same range. Their benefits overlap in the same range that Focus did. So, I mean, that's impressive. And it's even more impressive because this product didn't really have a lot of the side effects that those types of ADD drugs have, like failure to thrive, jitteriness, inability to sleep, kind of addiction potential once you get on them. Sometimes it's tough to get off. So that's kind of the science behind the product. And I would like to just take a second to stress the importance of clinical trials. I mean, everyone on the call, I'm sure, is aware of a product named Prevagen, and I've never mentioned that before, but we're talking about clinical trials now. The government looked at the Prevagen clinical trial, and essentially, if you look at that, it showed that Prevagen, when compared to placebo, did not produce any changes at the end of their 3-month clinical trial. And the government also said, well, this is a synthesized peptide. Is it safe? So they asked them to do a toxicity study. And in the toxicity study, the Prevagen people proved that their product got chewed up and digested in the stomach and was not absorbed into the body. And if it doesn't get into the bloodstream, how could it impact the brain? So because of those things, the government does not allow Prevagen to use their clinical trial because they said it was being used in a misleading fashion. They suggested that Prevagen used it as support to buy that product, when in reality, the government said, your own 2 clinical trials proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that it did not do anything to improve brain function. So that's why clinical trials are important. And I'd like to say one more thing about brain products and brain health. There's a company called Posit Science that's come up with a brain training program called Brain HQ. And it was developed over the past 30 years. And over the past 12 months, a number of studies have been published showing that it is an effective way of improving cognitive function and slowing down brain aging. And one study that came out trying to look at the mechanism of action behind those benefits studied acetylcholine levels and signaling in the brain. Now, acetylcholine is the memory focus neurotransmitter, and levels decrease as we age. They decrease by about 2.5% each decade. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a huge amount. And their Brain HQ cognitive training program improved acetylcholine neurotransmission. And that's how they thought it worked so well. Well, if you look at one of the ingredients in Focus, it's an herb that it actually increases acetylcholine in the brain. And that, we feel, is one of the main reasons why this product works so well, in addition to all of the other supplements that work synergistically with that. So that's kind of the pedigree of Focus and why we're proud of the product. So Darin, do you have anything to add about that?
You know, Dr. McCleary, I have only been involved in my career one clinical study, and how intense it was, and to know that you have put every one of your products through this, you know, with Focus, to know one, it's just kind of nice confirmation from experts outside to say, you know what, Dr. McCleary, this is a genius product. It's something that, you know, the body can use, and to have that. And the only thing I will add is, as you talk, as Colby mentioned, you know, I learn something every single time. But everyone, you don't have to become an expert like Dr. McCleary is. One, I never could be. Two, I don't pretend that. But isn't it wonderful to have someone like Dr. McCleary standing behind TM3 United Products full force? Because he is a gentleman you could have talk to any expert in the world, and he would know exactly what they're saying. And Dr. McCleary, if you don't mind, I'd like to share one quick little story. So we did a while ago, we had these 3 experts come on and were challenging me on a question about one of the ingredients in Focus. And Dr. McCleary was kind enough to take my call. He went through this. And at the end of this, the 3 experts go, yeah, okay, we finally understand. Thank you so much. And it was just wonderful for me to know these, quote, 3 experts, and I give them all the credit in the world, but they all were expert enough to listen and be taught by Dr. McCleary. And that's what we have here. And Dr. McCleary, if you don't mind, we do have a young lady who loves your product. And, you know, as you know, TM3 United isn't just a company that we, quote, work for. Everyone associated with it uses the products. We live the products, and she is someone that has just had an incredible experience that I'd like her to share. Star, do you mind?
Hi. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Star Berry. I am 44 years old. We have 3 beautiful children, our oldest of which is getting married next week. So that brings on its whole set of challenges. But so I grew up in a family of 7, and both my mom and my dad have ADD, and most of my siblings do. And so I obviously inherited some of that, but I've never been on Ritalin or Adderall or anything, but most of my siblings had to get through school and to pass classes. So about 2 years ago, I started teaching dance fitness, and I had been doing it for a while, but just didn't want to become an instructor. And finally, what pushed me over to the edge to become an instructor was that my mom was going through dementia at 80 years old. And I've started doing more research of how dance helps your memory and helps with dementia, like not just the exercise, but the actual like memorizing the moves and going through the motions. Your body wants to memorize, it wants to learn and continue those brain functions. So anyways, I decided to get certified and become an instructor 2.5 years ago. And that has been so good, but with its challenges of memorizing 15 to 18 songs a week for my sets. And so it's a continually weekly process where I pick songs and learn the moves. And not only do I have to learn them, but I have to like cue to people what is coming up next. Anyways, so Jared started getting me on this product about a year ago.
I had started taking it myself, and I thought, you should try this and see what it does for you. Because it's a must-have for both of us. We take it every day.
Yeah, every single day.
When we talk about first dose results a lot at TM3, this really is a first dose result product.
Yes, that's what I love about it. So a lot of my siblings are on adult Adderall and stuff, but they have trouble sleeping. So me and Jared are very anti, I don't know.
Yeah, like
Western medicine. We're not anti.
We like natural ingredients.
Yes, if we can do something homeopathic or natural, it's great. So I'm like, well, my siblings were having trouble sleeping, and I'm like, is it really worth the side effects my family was having? And I decided no, it wasn't. And so we started taking it, and like a week later we met with his extended family, his cousins.
I have cousins, and in that family there's about 7 siblings, and they all had children. So there was a lot of people
siblings
that Star didn't know she was meeting these people for the first time.
Yeah. Anyway, so they were introducing their kids, and even like a half hour later I could recall the kids' names. And I told Jared, I'm like, even on a good day when I was in my prime, I could not have done that. Like recalling their names, because I usually get so nervous that I forget. Anyway, so I was like, wow, like first dose results, like first week. So I was like, this stuff really works. Like I've never in my life have been able to do that. And then with dance, it just helps me to, like, I noticed I was memorizing the dances quicker and retaining it for the class. And just, I noticed day to day, if I don't take it, my cueing isn't as well. And
a lot of times, we take products and we don't realize what they're doing for us until we stop. And that's when we really notice. So anyway,
I feel it when we're out, and I'm like, we need to get more. Anyways, it's just really been helpful to me to know that I'm nourishing my brain. It's going to help me as I age, especially going through perimenopause, the brain fog. So I'm just really grateful for an all-natural product that can help me. I actually started sleeping better at night because I could calm my thoughts. So it was like the opposite of Adderall for my siblings. They'd stay awake all night. I'm like, I can actually sleep. This is so wonderful. Anyways, I just love it so much. And I don't think I'll ever get off of it. It's just helped me tremendously in my whole life and just all my day-to-day tasks. And I'm so grateful for it.
Thank you, Darin, and thank you, Dr. McCleary, for a great product.
Well, thank you both, and all the comments coming in. Another life change, Dr. McCleary.
Well, I love those comments. Number one, when you, as you said, when you stop taking a product, a couple of weeks go by and you say, oh my gosh, I've lost my mental edge or whatever you're taking a product for. And that's when you really are reinforced that it does help, and then you start and you get back on track. And also the dance thing. I mean, when you think about dance, there's motor planning, there is cadence, you're using the left side of the body, the right side of the body, you're using your frontal lobes to plan what you're going to do, you're using balance. So, I mean, all of that, it requires a lot of brain activity, but it is great brain training. So the two of those, the product and the dance, are just great things for brain health. So kudos to you. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jared and Star, thank you for sharing. It's just, it's one thing when you hear about stories, but when you know and love other people and you see it impacting their lives, it's just a little extra kudos. So anyway, and good luck with the wedding next week. We're all kind of excited about that as well.
Absolutely.
So, anyway,
Thank you.
Thank you.
but Dr. McCleary, related to focus, just the ability to go out and feed those neurons and the synapses and have them work correctly is incredible. And that's what you have come up with this product. So thank you. All right, let's shift gears just for a minute. Because while we have Dr. McCleary, we also want to talk about his next incredible product, BON3-X. BON3-X is one of those products that relates to the structural system. And, Dr. McCleary, we're going to talk about a gift that you have for everybody at the end. And I want to share that. But I was reading your book, and something in it really impacted me greatly. It was like, hey, moms, I don't want you to blame your kids, but because of your kids, your body is in a lot tougher position because, as they're creating another individual, it is just draining everything out of them. And, our structural system is kind of like a reservoir. Well, there are certain things that just get depleted. And one of those was, as the baby is developing, and that really hit me, you know what I mean? Like, geez, what we do to our moms, and how this product that you have developed, how it can help. I'll never forget 206 bones in the body. I'll never forget that, even from the time I was first, second grade, it was always 206. But just what this product can do, and how soon, honestly, I'm just going to give my opinion, how soon we should start taking it, because in our 30s and stuff, some things start to deplete. And the other thing you said one time is the sooner you can start switching that so it's not depleting as fast, that makes such a huge difference when you get old like me. And so that's why I take this every single day, because I do want to function when my grandkids are a little bit older. I want to be there for them, so I want my brain to be functioning correctly, and I want my body to be able to function correctly. So thank you. But if you don't mind, share a little bit about BON3-X and the power that's in this product right here, and why we should be taking it.
Sure. I mean, we were talking about brain health and brain function. That's something that defines who you are. And so you're kind of aware of that day after day. Are you doing well at work? Are you doing well at school? Do you have the energy you need to get through the day and so forth? Are you good in social situations? All of those things. So you're continuously reassessing yourself. And you kind of know if you're not as sharp one day as you think you should be. Bone health's a little bit different. I mean, many people don't realize their bones aren't perfect until, bam, they have a fracture, and they were just standing there in a subway train, or they lifted up something and they got pain in their back and they noticed L5 was compressed. So you're not always aware of the health of your bones. And so we tried to come up with a product that worked fast, because when you're in that type of situation, for example, your mom has a fracture, your sister or your aunt has a fracture, that's kind of a wake-up call. So BON3-X was kind of our solution. So we tried to come up with something that produced changes in bone and did it rapidly. Now, just off the top of your head, I mean, most people, when they say, oh, well, it takes a fracture months to heal, or people go on a drug and it takes a couple of years before their bones are looking or feeling better. Well, we did a clinical trial, which was 6 weeks long, and that's short in the life cycle of a bone. And we measured bone health indicators at the baseline beginning of the study and after 6 weeks. And this study was done, and Darin knows all this, but this was done in postmenopausal women. And they're the most challenging group because their estrogen levels are falling. And the first 10 years after menopause is when you lose a tremendous amount of calcium from bone. And bone health is all really, if you think about it, keeping calcium in bone cells and preventing it from leaving. So we put together 2 groups of nutrients, one that alkalinized bone cells, which acts like glue to keep calcium in bone cells. And we added 5 herbal supplements that block an enzyme that pumps calcium out of bone cells. So they were both designed to work together to increase bone health and keep bone cells strong. And if bone cells are strong, then bones are strong. And in 6 weeks, we identified differences in these indicators of bone health. And one was bone formation improved, bone breakdown, which is bad, decreased. And they were both because we were keeping calcium in bone cells. And if you're doing that, you would expect your body to be peeing out less calcium because you're keeping the calcium in bone, and that's what makes bone cells hard and resist fracturing. And when we measured urinary calcium losses with BON3-X, they were decreased. And I mean, it was X number of milligrams a day. It was something like 77 milligrams a day per person. But if you can save 77 milligrams of calcium a day, if you start taking BON3-X at age 50 when you hit menopause and you take it for 2 decades, that's enough savings to save half the calcium in an adult woman's skeleton. So these are major improvements, and they occur fast. These changes were identified in 6 weeks, and it was in a difficult group, postmenopausal women, and the product BON3-X does not have calcium in it. So it wasn't just gobbling up more calcium. So that's what we identified with BON3-X. And as Darin was alluding to, it works obviously in postmenopausal female, but we've tested it in males who saw similar benefits. And one other thing, as you go from adolescence to middle age, say from age 15 to 40, that's when you really pack calcium into bone and you make bone strong. And once you hit middle age, about 40, calcium in bone remains about stable until you hit menopause. And then, as they say, it's all downhill from there. So if you can use this product to improve bone health as you're building up calcium in bone and keep it there when you're younger, that is something that you can do so that you don't have to worry so much about bone health when you hit menopause or you're 50, 60, 70 years old. So it works fast, it works in difficult populations, and it also enhances bone health as you're packing calcium into bone when you're younger. So, it's a product that we found had essentially no side effects. And it works fast, and it works at multiple stages of your life. So we're really thrilled about that product as well. And we've got a clinical trial that backs up, what we claim. So that makes us happy.
Absolutely, Dr. McCleary. Hey, and a very special guest. I sent these pictures to you last week when she'd shared them, but Brittany is on the Zoom with us, and she's got quite the story to tell. And Colby, while Brittany is going to be sharing a couple of pictures related to this incredible story. But Brittany, do you mind sharing your personal experience with BON3-X, please?
Well, I wish I had the pictures before this, but it would show that I needed the pins and wire or pins and rods in my back because I had stenosis and degenerative disc disease, and the bones or the pins was haloing in my bones, and my doctor was going to put in longer rods and 8 more screws, And then I started taking the BON3-X, and when we went back in to review, when I'd have to go in for surgery to have the extension of the rods and the pins, he said, whoa, you got new bone growth. We don't have to put in the extensions. We can actually take this hardware out.
After 2 years.
After 2 years,
Yeah.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow. That's impressive. I mean, that's a major operation you had down there.
Yes, twice. Once to put the hardware in and once to get the hardware out.
And not put any hardware back in.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling now?
Oh, I feel great now. I've been
Fabulous.
after my 6 weeks of recovery, I'm able to bend over and tie my own shoes now, and I feel great. I'm
On
up
your feet all
cooking,
day?
yeah, on my feet all day, and
She cooks everything here at the shelter and just is always on the go and not hurting.
So now you can do things that you used to do to take care of other people. That's fabulous.
yeah, yes, and it's all thanks to your BON3-X.
Well, that's one small part. I think you did a good job as well. And I'm thrilled you're feeling better. But that's really what it's all about. So thanks for that great testimonial.
But with my diabetes and my age, they said it would take me a long road to recovery. And this is 7 weeks after post-op, and I feel great.
And then how long were you taking the product?
I was taking
6
it for
months.
6 months.
6 months before, yeah.
Yeah, for 6 months.
Wonderful.
That's
Wonderful.
incredible, y'all. I mean,
Yay.
just from the product,
Yeah.
you know, you think about it, you go back and you look at 3 capsules a day, 4 capsules a day to change your life. Is it worth it? And I think you heard from Star and Jared and Brittany that, yeah, absolutely. Anybody that isn't utilizing these products, I gotta say, I would challenge you to say, you know what, it's worth it to have someone like Dr. McCleary, his knowledge, his ability to share. But, you know, in some ways it gets emotional because you guys, these you saw it 3 times tonight. These products that he has clinically shown change lives. 7 capsules a day, and you can feel a whole lot better. I don't know what more TM3 United can do really to share as we go out and live by the same principles that we say: faith first, others second, and I am third. And to have people like Dr. McCleary really leading the charge of people that we rely on, take advantage, you know, do this for yourselves, for your family, for your legacy, because as you feel better, your kids, your grandkids are going to go out and just, you know, you're going to be around a whole lot longer to enjoy life. So
Thank you, Darin. You're very kind. And thank you, everyone, for jumping on the call. Thank you, Colby. These are always wonderful. I mean, I learn things every time I talk with you, Darin.